Hi guys, so I know I'm late putting out this video. I was supposed to put out a video on Wednesday, and honestly, ever since I got back from Talladega, I've been so off schedule that I totally forgot it had been 2 weeks since I had put a video out. Literally, like, all my days are messed up. I'm not remembering like what day it is. I mean, I went as far as like forgetting that my kid didn't have school this morning, and like I text her at like 5:30 this morning, like, hey, are you up, because I got to get her on the bus for like 6:30, and she's like, I don't have school today, remember, school's closed. And I totally forgot, even though she literally told me yesterday. So like that's how crazy things have been. And I've been kind of just like in my lazy girl era. And for you guys that are not familiar with like lazy girl era, it's funny, but there was actually a YouTube video that came across my feed today while I was like on my lunch break, and it was actually a video from Lena Lips, and I'll link that like in the description, because honestly guys, if you are currently in what I would consider like your lazy girl era, you know, where you just like your schedule is just off, you're just like not feeling it, you know, that doesn't mean that like you're going through like depression or anything, but you could be, but it's just like you're just like not motivated to like do what you normally do, or like you go on a trip, right, and you don't really follow that same routine every single day because you're somewhere else, and then you come home and it's like you have to get back in routine, but it's very hard for you to do that, so like you're just really off. I definitely would recommend that video, so like I'll share that. But yeah, so I've just kind of been like extremely off lately. I haven't been working out like I normally would, because I was working out every single day, and I haven't really worked out since Talladega. And the reason why is because with Talladega, like as much steps as we would get in a day, like there was days where we would get like 19,000 to like 20,000 steps in a day, that like I felt there was no need for me to work out. But then when I got home, it's like obviously I'm not even walking anywhere near that. I normally walk up to like about 2,000 steps a day here. And so yeah, like it's a huge difference from 2,000 to 20,000, right? So I've just been kind of like really off, and I don't like, I guess I really couldn't tell like how to get back into that routine. Like obviously work came back normal, but outside of work, like my personal life, like the things that I would do like personally, like outside of work, that balance has been completely off. So so yeah, it's just been really weird lately. And if you are feeling the same way, like just know that you're not alone. And obviously we can get back into routine, but sometimes, you know, we can pivot our routines. Our routines can change. We can realize that maybe the routine that we had prior to our vacation or whatever that we were doing that threw us off of routine might not always be the best thing for us. Like your routines can change. And so I'm being mindful of the fact that it's okay that my routine has changed, because I'm noticing that there's certain things that I really need to like reflect on, and that I don't really need to be doing in my life right now. And I was doing it before, and I don't need to worry so much about it. And eventually, if it's something that's meant to be in my routine, it'll, you know, I'll pick it back up. If it's not, and I feel fine without it being in my routine, then I won't do it. So yeah, so like I'm just kind of giving myself grace, right? Because sometimes we're a little too hard on ourselves when it comes to routines, and we tend to, you know, almost force ourselves to do routines that might not be best for us. Like, for example, like you might see a YouTuber or someone that you look up to and they do their routine at like a certain time, you know, and maybe that's just not you. Like, you're not one of those people that can get up at 5 a.m., right? Or you're not one of those people that wants to sleep till 8, 9 o'clock, or you can't because you might have other responsibilities, especially for moms like myself. If you have kids that have school and things like that, you have to cater your schedule to your kids. You're not always able to, you know, start your day when you truly want to. So yeah, like you have to just be mindful of all of that. And everybody's schedules are going to look different depending on where they are in their lives, and also just depending on what they do. Because like if they don't work a regular job, you know, obviously they might have a little more, you know, free time than somebody that works like a strict schedule and then, you know, has to like go pick their kids up from daycare or have to do this or whatever. So yeah, like we all have 24 hours in a day, but we don't all have the same type of 24 hours. And so we have to be okay with that. Like, we don't need to be like comparing ourselves to other people and other people's lives, because especially, you know, sometimes when we look at, you know, people that are either content creators or, you know, celebrities, you forget that sometimes these people have the financial means to have help that you might not have. So you have to also take that in mind as well. Just because they're showing that to you, that might not be feasible for your lifestyle. So yeah, guys, like and trust me, like I have to, like I'm always looking for like new productive hacks and things like that to, you know, when it comes to like what people do with their routines and stuff. And I love watching the productive videos and like seeing people's like, you know, their day. But that doesn't always mean that I have to take what they do and implement it into my life. Sure, there might be some things I'm like, oh, well, I should do that, but I'm going to do that in the evenings and not during the day, because there's no way for me to have that time to build it in. But, you know, you just have to be okay with your life looking different from other people's. And I hate to say it, but social media has a lot to do with that. Has a lot to do with a lot of people comparing themselves to other people. Don't get sucked up into that negativity, because if you do, then you're never going to be truly happy. You're not going to be happy if you're constantly always trying to do what somebody else is trying to do, because then you're technically living your life almost through them, because, you know, you're trying to be like them, you're trying to embody who they are, and then you're gonna end up having some type of identity crisis, because you're not gonna be you, and you're gonna be like acting too much like somebody else. So just do what's best for you. And if you don't know what that truly is, take time and reflect on things, journal it, do whatever you have to do to figure out what is best for you. And you don't have to know right away, but just take time to, you know, think about what you currently do right now and time block it. Like, just write it all out and like be like, okay, well, I end up doing this at this time or whatever, and then, you know, figure it out from there. And it actually will make your life so much easier, because then you can really look at, okay, well, I do this from this time to this time, so that's like way too much time. Like, I'm actually wasting a lot of time. And that's another thing too, guys, like scrolling on social media. You guys don't realize, like, if you have an iPhone, and I don't know if Androids do this. I mean, you guys can let me know. I have no idea. I haven't had an Android phone in so many years, because I've pretty much stuck with an iPhone forever. But obviously, you know, you have the screen time thing. I cringe every time I see my screen time because I'm like, how did I literally stay on my phone for 7, 8 hours sometimes, right? And I'm like, even though like I wasn't doing it like a constant, like I wasn't on it 7 to 8 hours straight, but it's just picking up my phone randomly, right? Because like we're so glued to technology now that we don't realize it. Like we will literally just pick up our phones out of habit. Like, oh, like you get a text message, right? And it's like, oh, you feel like you have to hurry up and answer them. And sometimes you do, because it could be like family member or something like that texting you, and it could be something extremely important. But see, that's also part of the problem. It's because we constantly assume that everything between social media and text messages are emergencies, that we have to answer people right away. And it sucks because sometimes you don't know. You don't know until you open it if it's an emergency or not. But that's the thing. It keeps us glued to our phones all the time. So we just have to start like putting like boundaries in place for ourselves. And sometimes it's really hard to do. And you can also, like with iPhones, obviously, you can do like the focus options and stuff, but you can have it where only certain people can contact you during those times. So like you can put, you know, like your husband, your wife, or your partner, whoever it is, your kids, you know, your parents, whoever, like, you know, family, and maybe like certain close inner circle people that you know that if they're going to text you, more than likely it's something important and they're going to want you to answer right away. And so you can actually put that in place so their messages come through, but you won't get anybody else's. And sometimes you won't even get phone calls, like, you know, whatever. You can kind of like set them all up different, whatever. I actually had mine set up for a little while, but then I don't know, like I started turning it off, and now I'm starting to like regret it because I was doing that for a while where I was just like turning it off because I'm like, you know what? No, because I don't think I set it up right. And so like I was missing like text messages and things like that. So, but that was literally like right when it first came out. So like I wasn't even really like trying to set up all of that stuff correctly. I just tried it out, and then now like my phone constantly wants to turn it on even though I don't even really want to use it, because, and that's the only bad thing about being a content creator as well, is that my personal cell phone is literally the phone number that if that is in my email signature. Now I feel that is a bad thing because obviously that means that if somebody tried to call me, they can't get in touch with me if I have focus on, right? Because obviously that's not somebody that I know. That's not somebody that I have ever talked to. And so that can really blur the line too. But I mean, people don't always expect you to answer right away. They can leave voicemails, but still, it does end up putting me in kind of that fine line of a boundary. And so, yeah, I have to be mindful of that as well. But yeah, guys, so definitely make sure that you prioritize yourself and you put boundaries in place when it comes to your routine, because you're the only one that can do this. Nobody else can do it for you. You have to make yourself disciplined enough to do it. And that can be hard sometimes, you know? It can be, especially if it's things that you've never done before that you're trying to put into your routine. And, you know, just a rule of thumb, normally it takes up to 30 days for something to become a habit. So that means you've got to be very consistent with something for at least 30 days before it becomes a major part of your routine, and like it's just something that you naturally do. But you actually have to be consistent, and sometimes being consistent can be hard with things. But don't be hard on yourself, especially if it's something extremely new that you've never done, or it's something that like you've done before but you've put it off for so long that like it's almost like you starting a brand new habit because you've been out of routine for so long. So yeah, just be mindful of that, and you know, don't force yourself. Like your routine, you want it to be something that you enjoy. And when I say enjoy, that doesn't mean like, oh my gosh, it's like so much fun to brush your teeth and stuff like that. That's not what I mean. But where it doesn't make you feel like you're forcing yourself to do something that you don't truly want to do. Because if you're forcing yourself to do things and you're like, and you just hate it, you absolutely hate it, you're not going to be motivated to do it. And so you have to be mindful of that. So, but yeah, guys, so that was it. I just wanted you guys to know that starting a routine can be very hard, but it's so rewarding, and it's always really good for you to have some type of routine, even if it does get messed up every now and then, like mine did. You can still keep up with certain things, and then worst case, you can always start implementing things later on. Our routines grow with us, right? So my routine that I had at 18, 19 is not what I have now at 37, right? Like, I mean, everything changes. And our routine has to grow with us. So there will be things that will fall off, and there'll be things that get added that I didn't think about. Like, for example, I didn't think about skincare when I was a teenager. I did not do skincare at all. Skincare is a major part of my routine now. You know, I do skincare in the mornings and I do skincare in the evenings too. I didn't do all of that back then. And I just started doing skincare literally like not even a year ago because I'm just really late. And really, I should have been doing that a long time ago, but I didn't even think about it because it was never a thing. It was never something that I cared about, and now I do. It's a priority for me. And so, you know, certain things will be priorities for you, you know, like whether it's your health or your self-care, or you know, diet, like you want to eat better or whatever it could be. But we all have like our different priorities, and whatever you feel is a priority is going to come first, and then you can start implementing other things along the way. So all right, but yeah, guys, so if there is anything else that you guys would love for me to talk about, whether it has anything to do with productivity, you know, mindset, any type of self-development, if you want book recommendations, anything, you know, let me know in the comments. I mean, I read all of them. I will answer as many as I possibly can. I will try to answer all comments depending on, you know, how many end up being in, you know, in that section. And like I said, definitely let me know if there's certain things you want me to talk about. I'm willing to make videos about that. And also make sure that you like this video and subscribe and hit the bell, because that will you'll be able to actually get all the notifications of whenever I either go live sometimes, because that will end up happening eventually. And then also, obviously, you'll get notifications for when videos get uploaded. So, all right, that's it, guys. So take care and go out and manifest your best life.